Let's dive into what we are talking about today, beyond the ego. But before we do that, let's get to know Nicole a little bit more. So, who is Nicole?
Okay.
Nicole is a certified yoga.
Oh, you do the introduction.
What? Or do you want to do the
You
introduction?
can. Oh, no, I love.
I can do it for you.
Please, I love hearing that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nicole is a certified yoga instructor with over 1,500 teaching hours and the founder of Niyam Academy, an online yoga studio, and Yoga with Nicole Rea YouTube channel with over 21,000 subscribers, which is already pretty awesome. Leveraging her background in teaching, competitive obstacle racing, and yoga, Nicole helps others build a fulfilled and happy life and find mental clarity and focus through well-established yoga practices, teachings, and philosophy. You would not say it at first, but Nicole has completed some of the craziest races I ever seen. There is a YouTube video of her. She's doing, which one was that? That was definitely like an Ironman kind of
Yeah,
like
it was a
style.
Spartan Ultra Beast.
Obstacle racing. Yeah. When she shared that with me, and I'm like, no freaking way. I don't think I can compete that, and she did that. So don't let that beautiful smile distract you. There is a real beast living inside who is ready to accomplish and conquer any kind of obstacles. And you know, with a very nice and gentle and friendly approach, I think you are not going to find a better instructor than Nicole to teach you about how to actually have a greater mental clarity. And I think that's about it for now. Not gonna take more of the time. Nicole, the stage is yours. The pressure is on, so blow us away.
Thank you, Adam. First of all, I am so excited talking about this topic. And as you mentioned, to dive deeper into the topic of our mind, combined with mind setting and everything, is so interesting. And I can't wait to share all my knowledge with you. And I'm also super happy that I see familiar faces. Hi, Madison. Hi, Steffi. Hi, Selina. Nice to see you. And all others, I'm happy that you joined. And I know this topic can be a bit tough, especially when it comes to yogic names, yogic words. You know, there is the Sanskrit language. And I try to make it super understandable for you. I try to make it very active. So you need to do a lot of things. You need to write your ideas in the chat. You need to raise your hand sometimes. You need to shake your heads or whatever. So I try to take you with me on this journey for the next hour, that you get the most out of it. And as Adam said, I practice yoga now since more than 10 years. And since almost 5 years, I am proudly self-employed as full-time yoga teacher. And I love sharing the yogic knowledge with all of you guys, with my students, because yoga is everywhere. Yoga helps not only with our physical health, it helps us also with our mind, with our emotions, with our traumas, with our personality, with our life goals. It's like holistic, it's everywhere. So I prepared something, as you see here. This is basically the overview of our talk. I will give you a nice introduction about the Yoga Sutras. Then we come to the internal instrument of our mind, states of consciousness, stages of our mind, and then, of course, all in all, I will give you some examples, some practical applications to keep everything engaged and understandable. So, yeah, but first of all, let's do a little grounding. And I invite you to just where you are, lean back, rest your hands really comfortably on your legs, and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale gently through your nose. And exhale. If you need, take 2 or 3 more deep breaths. Now breathe naturally, let it come and go. Observe your breath. Observe without judgment. Feel the air, how it comes and goes. Each breath you take grounds you more and more. You become calm. Calm in your breath. Calm in your heart. Calm in your head. Observe your thoughts. What is going on right now? Is it one thought? Do they switch? What do you see, feel, hear? Now take again a deep breath. Inhale fully and exhale. Be aware where you are right now. Be aware of what you're doing. And gently open your eyes. Namaste everyone, I'm so happy that you are here. For this lecture, I have a reminder for you. And basically the reminder says, why are we doing this? And remember, the journey to mental clarity is ongoing. Each step you take is understanding and managing your mind, brings you closer to a more balanced and focused life. This is why we are doing it. We want to understand what's going on in here, and I'm happy to show you what's going on there. So let's start with the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. The Yoga Sutras are a foundational text in the yogic philosophy that discuss the nature of our mind and how to achieve mental peace. And here you see the second sutra. This is very important because it is the definition of yoga. And for those who have the camera on, just raise your hand physically, and those without camera on, you can put the hand down there in the reaction. So raise your hand if you heard the definition of yoga, like yoga is to calm the mind. Do you know this definition of yoga? Have you heard about it? Yoga is to calm the mind. Okay, few of you heard about that. Let me tell you, it is way deeper than that. When I started my 200-hour teacher training, I also in German, yoga is to calm the mind. That's the basic definition everyone talks about. But when I was in India, we dig deeper into it, because to understand what is the definition, we have to translate the words, and I will translate them with you together. So basically, yoga means yoga. Chitta means the mind, our intuition, memories, senses, like the whole mind. We come to that later. Then vritti is like movements or modifications. And nirodha, or I will write it down there, is bringing something close to something. And if we put them all together, we have a way deeper understanding of the definition of yoga and the mind. Yoga is the control of the modifications of the mind. And yeah, how much is going on now in our head and how much can we control through yoga and through what we are doing now. So basically 20% is our mind and the movements, and 80% is nirodha, is the control, is our practice, what we are doing. But when I say our practice, I don't mean just physically yoga asanas. It's way more than that. It's what we are doing now, it's the learning, it's the philosophy, it's your lifestyle. So the goal of yoga is to calm the vrittis, the movements of our mind, to achieve a state of inner peace and, what's more important for us right now today, clarity in our mind. So one question for you: how many thoughts do we have in 1 minute? Would you agree if I say many? Right. Would you agree if I say we have more than 3 thoughts? Right. Would you say more than 10? More than 100? Right. A lot. A lot of things are going on. And the thing is, to calm the mind, or to bring this peace and clarity in our head, we need to understand what's going on there. And I have an example for you, and maybe you also want to take notes for yourself, because this can help you a lot if you have problems falling asleep at night. So I think all of us, we have from time to time a hard time falling asleep. Most of the time it's our thoughts who keep us awake. But why they are so loud when we want to go to sleep? The thing is, we become super aware in this moment. We kind of withdraw our senses when we go to bed, because we close our eyes, it is a dark room, it is silent. So the whole awareness goes inward and we start listening. And sometimes our mind, our thoughts are so loud that we have problems falling asleep. Just quickly raise your hands or write down in the chat if you experience that. Yeah, I think we all know this. So I have some practical tricks for you to calm the mind. For example, if you are creative. As content creator, we all know this. We are in the bed and we have this idea what we want to do for the next reel, for the next vlog, whatever. And we all have these ideas, and just go up, bring them out of your head and write down some notes. I hope my handwriting is getting a bit better and better when I calm down. Right now I'm still a bit nervous. I'm sorry if you can't read it that much. Okay, these are positive thoughts, but also we have some negative thoughts, like we are worried about something, we have a problem going on, and from time to time it happens. We are worried. And if this occurs, I have a trick for you. I read a few years ago a nice meditative image I like to do because it helps me a lot. Imagine you are floating in a river but you can't float in the river because you have a lot of heavy stones on your chest. And these stones, they put you down, so you can't float. And the trick is to imagine putting all these heavy stones away from your chest. So you get lighter and lighter and you start flowing through the river, through the nice scenery. And this helps me from time to time. Like, just imagine putting all my problems away from me and then I float away of these problems. So I will write down float down the river. So another thing is the monkey mind. I think you can imagine what I mean with that. Sometimes we have a monkey mind. It jumps from one thought to another and we are restless. We can't sleep. It's like doof, doof, this, and this is going on. And for that I have a trick. Count down from 108 to 0. Why 108? It's like a meditative special number in the yogic world. And count down with your breath. So it's like 108, inhale, exhale. 107, inhale, exhale. 106, inhale, exhale, and so on. And if you catch yourself, you forget where you are, start from the beginning. Every time, if you forget where you are right now, start from the beginning. This helps me a lot of times when I am restless in my mind, counting down from 108 to 0. And if you work out, you experience some muscle tensions. Of course, yoga asanas, yoga nidra, stretching, of course this helps. But from time to time, we lay down in our bed and we feel this stiffness. We feel like a tension going on. And for this, body relaxing techniques like yoga nidra helps a lot. And there's a trick you can do. You don't have to do the full yoga nidra sequence. You can do just a body relaxation journey through your body. And if you don't know right now exactly what it is, you can Google it later, you can dive deeper, or we can also come back at the end in the Q&A session. Just make your note if you want to know more about this. I write down body relaxing techniques. Ooh. So it's not getting better. Like yoga nidra. Okay. Yeah, but also we all have our own tricks who helps us a lot. And I am curious if you have now one trick in your head where you say, I need to share this because this helps me also a lot. And if you have a great tip, it would be cool if we could share this at this moment right now, but let's try to keep it short and write it down in the Zoom chat if you have a trick which helps you a lot falling asleep, if you're worried or if you're creative or if you have a monkey mind or muscle tensions. That would be interesting. Or if you also want to say it, just raise your hand, unmute yourself, and then you can say it. I will read the chat messages. So we have a quick tip, is a short meditation. And I also had last week's a conversation with a meditation teacher, and you can do meditation in your bed. You can lay down, just make sure your spine is nice and tall. 4, 7, 8 breathing technique, 4 reps from Nick. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful. Okay, if you have a tip and it was too quick for you now, we can do it also in the end. Let's move on. The next one is the Antakarana model, and this focus on the different parts of our mind. So this is super interesting to understand what is going on. And here we are talking about the chitta, the mind. And if we translate it again in the yoga world, everything is a bit more understandable if we translate it for us in our language. Antakarana means, anta means inner, and karana means instrument. And if we put them together, we come to the internal instrument of the mind. This will be now a good tool for you to understand why and what is going on. And to make it more practical and understandable, I created a scenario. And we will talk about this scenario for the next minutes. So you are in front of a rice field. Imagine that you stand in front of a rice field and you are barefoot. You are 15 minutes late and your goal is to reach the other side of the rice field. Your destination is on the other side. There are streets around the rice field, of course, but there's also a way through the rice field. And with this scenario, I want to explain now our different parts of the mind. So, first of all, we have manas, which is our senses. This is the part of our mind which processes informations and experiences through our senses, like through our eyes, nose, mouth, the ear, and of course also the skin. It's like the faculty of doubt and willpower, and also the desire and sensory organs. Now, when it comes to modern life, this part, manas, helps us to process daily tasks like informations from work, personal interactions. And when it comes to the rice field, remember, we want to go on the other side of the rice field. You are barefoot, and basically what this part does is you see the rice field, you see the water, you see paths, maybe you see some mud, you smell it. And I have one question for you, and just shake your head, yes or no, if you agree or disagree. Would that information given through your senses, would that be enough for you to cross the rice field? Shaking. Okay, good, thank you. I will explain the second part. That's a very interesting part because it is our ego. And the ego is ahamkara. And this is where our identity is. It's the sense of ourself. And of course, what wants the ego? It wants us always to be happy. It also wants us to feel good. And this part shapes our behaviors. So in modern life, this is the part which feels sometimes hurt if someone is mean to you, which feels happy if someone says a nice compliment to you. It responds to criticism or praise. And when it comes to the rice field, the ego wants to arrive in a quick way because we don't want to be late. And the question is, again, yes or no, agree or disagree. If you only have the ego, would you trust only this information to walk through the rice field? Right. Okay, thank you. This brings me to the third part, which means chitta, our subconscious mind. This is the part where all of our experiences, memories, impressions, and intuitions are. So, memories, experiences, intuition. This part is also responsible for remembering and forgetting. And modern life example means this part influences us through past experiences or current decisions and mental states. So if you are in the rice field, you know that a rice field is watered and because of the water it's muddy. You heard of someone who walked through the rice field and saw a spider. You know that there are some dangerous animals living in the rice field. And you also know you could slip, you could get dirty because the chance to do so is high. One question, agree yes or no? If you only have this information, would you walk through and give it a try? Thank you. So now we have already 3 functions of our mind, and let's just quickly stick them together with the rice field. So we have manas, our senses, they analyze the situation and we see the water, the paths and the mud. We have our ego, who does not want to be late and want to do the shortcut. We have chitta, our intuition, our experiences and memories, which knows, okay, maybe there are some animals, someone slipped, I could get muddy. Something is missing. Do you have any idea what is missing? You can write it down in the chat. It's a tricky question, but just write it down. What do you have in your head? My goal, why I want to do this, is one message. Other ideas? How important is it for me? I mean, the ego says it's important to walk through the rice field. Desire. What is it what actually does the action? Because right now you're standing there thinking. Motivation. Good answers. I like the why I want to do this. The thing is, you're standing there, you're analyzing it, but in the end you need to make a decision. And to find the decision, it comes to the 4th part of our head, which is buddhi, our wisdom or intellect. So buddhi is the decision maker and discernment. It's the part which discerns truth from false. It's our knowledge. And this part makes wisdom possible. So in modern life, you make decisions at work, you distinguish right from wrong in social scenarios. So the rice field. You stand there thinking if it is a good idea to walk barefoot through a rice field just to be on time. We think, I think you all would agree, we think it would be okay to arrive 15 minutes late, then put ourselves in danger or arrive with any chance of muddy pants. It would be wise to walk around. And this part is buddhi. But also sometimes we need to evaluate the situations, because imagine someone on the other side is in huge danger and you could save his or her life. It would be worth to take the risk to save the life. You would agree, right? Or if there is not really a time limit, nobody cares if you are late or not, because it's just our ego who wants to be in time. So you don't take that risk. So every situation needs to be evaluated, and buddhi, the wisdom, takes care of that. So the question is, why? Why do we have to know this, and why do we need to know this? The thing is, this helps us recognize processes and helps us to respond calm and constructive. Imagine you are in a situation and you only listen to your senses. You get very impulsive. And sometimes, we all had these scenarios in our lives where we were impulsive and we were not happy about our impulsive reactions. So if we put all these parts together, they help us recognize processes and respond calm and constructive. We understand the why and the how we behave in our daily lives. For example, if something makes you feel sad or happy, you understand better why this is going on, because you understand and start analyzing different parts of your mind and understand because of that why you behave like that in your daily life. Of course, if you understand that, we reach a higher dimension of ourselves, because you start being aware of your situations, of your behaviors, of your daily life, in your meditations, in the grocery store, on the scooter, everywhere. And through all of that, you get a more balanced and focused life. Because once you know this, it kind of changes. And since I heard about them in the very beginning, in my 200-hour teacher training, like 5 years ago, since then it changed my life. And I hope I can kind of influence you too, that you know about this and get better analyzing your routines, your behaviors, your thoughts, your lives. So, yeah. And now I have another question for you. I have, wait a second. Yeah, the thing is, we not only can say ego is bad, we just want to listen to buddhi. They all work together. So we need all of them. We need to analyze, we need our memories, we need intuition, and also we need our senses. We need, in different situations, we need to smell, to touch, to feel, to hear. All of them are working together. But of course, the goal is to give buddhi, our intellect, our wisdom, a bigger part of it. The trick is to recognize them, to observe them. And I have some questions now for you. And this is why I have this overview here of all these 4 parts. I give you a situation and I want you to write down in the chat which part of our mind is dominant in this moment. Okay? So imagine you are in a grocery store. You're ready and you want to go to the cashier. There's a long line. You feel very angry about that because you have to wait. Which part is dominant? Right. Right. That was easy. Okay. Next example. There's a fresh, cheesy pizza in the hot oven. It's ready. You did put it in because, of course, you're hungry, you want to eat. And the pizza is ready. You take out the pizza and right away You bite into this piece of pizza because it smells so good and you burn yourself. Yes, you're good. It's our senses. It's funny because a classmate of mine, one morning he came into school and he had a burning mark on his shin. And guess what? Manas was dominant. He ate the pizza and the cheese burned his shin. That was so funny. Yeah, okay, the next part. In Germany, we change the tires of our cars twice a year. We say from O to O, Easter to October, and the weather around Eastern is still super cold. Sometimes it snows. You don't change the tires because of? Yeah, I see chitta, intellect, experiences, memories, or... Yeah, we can discuss this. The thing is, the experience, we say from O to O, Eastern to October, could be that if you see snow outside, you see, okay, snow is cold, would be smart to not change the tires. So you see, they are working together, but I would give Buddhi a more dominant role in that because we think, we know, we put our wisdom into this, that this scenario would be bad if we change the summer tires, if it's still cold and slippery outside. Okay, last one. You see a cat and you want to play with her. You don't pull the tail because in your past a cat scratched you because of that. Yes, that's chitta. That's our memories. Right. I hope these examples help you to understand these 4 parts in our mind and still remember that, as I said in the beginning, the journey to mental clarity is ongoing. Each step you take in understanding and managing your minds brings you closer to a more balanced and focused life. Okay, let's dive deeper. We know that we have these 4 parts now in our mind, and our mind can have 4 states of consciousness. My question to you: which states of consciousness do you know? Or just one, if you know one state of consciousness. Rosilia, what do you mean with theta? Maybe try to define it more easy. Theta is right, but maybe the others don't get what you mean. Here in the present 3D world. Don't think too complicated. Right now, what are you? What is right now the state of yourself? I hope. Yes, awake, conscious, present, awake. Okay, yes, this is the first state. We are awake. Our senses are awake. We see, we hear. All informations are going to our mind. And now it's getting easier. What states do you know? What else? So right now you're awake. What others are there? Right, dreaming, sleeping. When it comes to sleeping, we have also different states. One is dreaming, and the other one is the theta. What is the other one? Deep sleep. Right, perfect. So when we are dreaming, our kind of impressions come to our mind. We dream. Physically, our body rests. Our body senses are not really working. Our eyes are closed. We see the impressions of our day, our memories, and we walk through them. In deep sleep, everything is kind of off. Our mind loses the connection to our senses, to our impressions. In yoga, we say also it rests in a seat. We don't see, we don't hear, taste, remember, nothing. And in yoga, this is very interesting. In yoga, there's a fourth state. This is Turiya. Does someone of you heard about that state, Turiya? No? Yeah, Turiya means basically four. The Indian people, they didn't take it easy. So it's the fourth state. It's behind deep sleep. And we can't really describe what it is, but in Yoga Nidra we say, it's because the Turiya is the goal of Yoga Nidra. In Yoga Nidra we say, it's kinda you are aware in deep sleep. So imagine your body, your mind is in deep rest, in deep sleep, but your subconscious mind is so aware that you are aware of this state. It's very deep and very tough. There are stories about people who practicing Yoga Nidra for a long time, and they measured the brain waves. So they were in theta, they were in deep sleep, and then they made some tests. So they were talking to this person, and afterwards, this person could remember everything they talked to them. This is insane. Okay, but this is a whole other topic of Yoga Nidra, but it's very interesting. Our life basically happens in the awakened state in Jagrat. This is where we are aware and where everything happens. So now we come to the 5 stages of our mind. So we all experience these movements going on in our head. We are awake, and now we can find 5 stages of our consciousness, because when we are awake, we experience also different stages of our consciousness. And of course, each stage is depending on the practitioner. So they are not super clear, but we can order them a little bit. And these 5 stages are called Chitta Bhumis in the yoga philosophy. And I will explain now what it is. So the first stage we have is Chittam. This is the disturbed mind, or also called monkey mind. As in the beginning, monkey mind, when we want to fall asleep, a lot of things are going on. This is like the mind jumping from one to the next. No focus, no concentration at all. Our mind is restless. It's constantly shifting from one thought to another. It's like scrolling through social media. Sometimes you experience that. Sometimes you scroll, but when you're honest to yourself right now, you don't remember what was 2 or 3 reels before that. So you don't grasp the knowledge. You kind of numb. So you're also not able to decide what you want to see. Other example, it's also like you do a job, you have to, but you don't really want to. Also, you listen to someone, and after a while you zoom out because you don't listen anymore. We kind of shut down. In modern life, sometimes we feel overwhelmed by multiple tasks. Maybe you know that. And you are unable to focus on one part, on one goal, or any single one. And if you feel overwhelmed by something, by feelings, emotions, tasks, then a practical application would be breathe. First, breathe, recognize that you are in this state of kind of overwhelming when your mind is restless, and try to do simple mindfulness techniques like taking a few deep breaths. Try to calm the mind. Or if you are in your flat, in your apartment, and you feel overwhelmed, or the ladies can agree, if you're in PMS, sometimes we are everywhere but not where we should be. Go out, take a few breaths, connect to nature. Meditation helps also a lot to relax the mind and also calm the waves of our thoughts. This helps a lot. So the second part is Muda, and this means perplexed or baffled mind, donkey mind. We are exhausted and you experience some laziness, dullness, lack of interest and motivation. So the chittam, the first one, is really the worst what can happen. You are numb. The second one, you are kind of aware, you feel lazy, you feel heaviness in yourself. This also can experience if you procrastinate a lot, if you feel unmotivated, if you don't like to start to do important tasks, or also if you do a long nap in the afternoon and you slept too long, you wake up and you feel totally heavy, you feel totally baffled. This is this state of our mind, our consciousness. Other example, if you ate too much, you feel tired and heavy, or if you worked out excessively and then you're really, really tired and heavy. So if you experience that in your consciousness, try to stimulate actively, set small achievable goals, not too much, re-energize the mind, also take a walk, take a few steps outside in the nature, and try to recognize what happened, what caused this state. If you feel heavy after your lunch, maybe you ate too much or you ate the wrong thing, it was too heavy, the meal. If you feel overwhelmed by your work, set smaller goals. And common symptoms, if people are kind of caught in Chittam or Muda state, are mental fatigue or lack of clarity, or sadness, depression, hopelessness, poor concentration, lack of purpose of life. And to overcome them, these two is infuse them with energy. Mindfulness meditation, goal settings, mantra meditation, create awareness of these states. Be aware that it happened, and then you can shift your behaviors. The third one is Vichiptam, and this is the distracted mind. Or butterfly mind. And V basically translates to better, so it's better than the first one, which is kind of funny. And yeah, it's a state where you are concentrated but disturbed. So you are able to find concentration but get disturbed all the time. Sometimes you can focus, but you can easily get distracted by external stimuli. You grab your phone every time, you check your mails and whatever. It's like a restless butterfly jumping from one flower to another. That's why they said butterfly mind. We experience this, of course, if we are distracted and we are able to decide what to do, because you work, you get distracted by your phone, but then you put it away and you focus again back on your work. chip them, you would not put the phone away. Or muda, you would also not put the phone away. You are tired, you are lazy, you scroll. But vichittam, you are able to focus, you are able to decide to come back to your tasks. You kind of also have moments of clarity. This is why you recognize this. And in modern life, as I showed you, it's checking the phone is the most common distraction. Of course, the social media addiction, we all kinda have more or less. And yeah, practical tip is for you to create a distraction-free environment. Practice focusing techniques like time blocking to enhance concentration. Try to do regular meditation. Could be also like a 5-minute mini meditation. This would be totally enough. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths. Try to bring the focus on the paper and try to decrease the number of distractions in your environment. And more or less, if you try to train this concentration, this will help you to lengthen the time of focus. And also meditation is a big tool to enhance the focus, and of course find peace in these moments of unrest. The fourth one is ekagram, one-pointedness. I really love this state. It's also called the crane state. And as it said in the name, one-pointedness. So you are one-pointed, you are focused, you are concentrated on one thing, on one task. You know, this is my goal. You are really on-pointed. And we all know this when we have, for example, a task we really like to do, when we draw something, or when you're really into a project and you can't let it go. A programmer is in his program for hours. This is the one-pointedness. I could experience it when I decided to go on my path of self-employment. This was my goal, to be self-employed. Yes, exactly. You know it also as flow state. Thank you, Adam, for this question. It's a thing you truly believe. You truly know this goal. You not only have the goal on paper, you feel the goal inside of your head. You want that. You desire to learn. You are desire to train, to transform everything. And when you are in this state, you know the next steps easily. It feels light. It feels not heavy at all. It's the opposite. And the thing is, when your mind is ready to do this task or to work towards the goal, you know it, you feel it. And what I wanted to tell you is when I wanted to be self-employed, this was so clear to me that I want to do that nothing could stop me. Not my co-workers, I was a primary school teacher, they couldn't stop me. Not friends who were, I know it was out of love, but they said, do you really want to open your own yoga studio? Maybe you just want to work as yoga teachers in the beginning. And for me, it was clear. I said, no, I do that. And maybe you yourself have some special moment in your life where you experience this one-pointedness working towards this goal. Could be a sport goal, could be a business goal, could be something creative. As Adam said, it's the flow state. And this is a really, really cool state and a really high state of consciousness. Of course, you are super productive. And also this shows us that goal setting is so important in everything. And I am sure you know already a lot about goal setting, but what I can tell you is, and what I want to share with you is, if you feel the goal inside yourself, in your whole body, like a vibration through everything, you know this is the right goal. You are truly behind this goal Nothing can bring you off this goal, and that's great. So yeah, we had already some examples. The last one is the highest one, called Nirudam. This is called the controlled mind or mastermind. In this state, all distractions are stopped. It's the highest mind, the highest state of our mind we can achieve. And when I say highest, I mean the highest. So it's super controlled, it's calm, it's clear. And this is our goal. We want work towards it, especially as yogi. When you practice yoga and when you practice mindfulness, you want to have a controlled mind. You want to be there. And it's like in this state, all of these vrittis, all of these movements, they get still. They become still. They are no longer disturbing your mind. They are no longer disturbing your thoughts, external or internal factors. In yoga, we also say you experience pure calmness inside of yourself, like you can experience in deep meditation, in deep sleep, in yoga nidra. And you're fully present in this present moment. You become free from all desires, you become free from all attachments. You are really in deep peace and bliss. In yoga, we also say this is the state of samadhi, the highest goal, the highest state we want to achieve. Some of you maybe heard about the enlightenment state, samadhi. Also, as it is with the other words in the yoga world, it's way more, it's way deeper than just the enlightenment. It's the highest state. It's our mastermind. Okay. To achieve this state, of course, you have to do some actions in mind work. You have to meditate regularly. You have to practice mindfulness. You have to also be aware of all what we are now learning about the stages of our consciousness, about what is going on in our head. And you need to find a harmony also, of course, between them. Yeah, okay. When it comes to Vichittam, here this was wrong. Vichittam, the third one, the distracted mind, the butterfly mind, most of us are most of the time in Vichittam. And that's totally okay, because we are humans and we are not meditating all the time. And we also have life, what happens. Our mind is clear, but of course we experience disruptions, we experience distractions, procrastination, and from time to time we are able to go deeper. We find a goal, we are one-pointed, and sometimes we experience also a very controlled mind. Maybe one of you already experienced it. I would be happy to hear the story. Maybe afterwards there is time to share our stories of these states of consciousness. I have also another thing for you. It's like, yeah.
Before we move on, when would it be a good time to take a couple of questions? We can carry on if that's what you prefer. I'm just checking. So
I would say, let me just look at my overview. Maybe later. But okay. I can answer the brain in Turiya. Is the brain in Turiya? This is the state of our consciousness, the fourth state. Turiya means behind deep sleep. So you imagine we are awake, we can dream, we can fall in deep sleep, and then there is something deeper, way deeper than deep sleep. So we can experience Turiya So this is a goal of Yoga Nidra, but we are not, right now we are not in this state. It's also like with the brain waves. You have these alpha, beta, theta brain waves. If you're in deep sleep, you are in theta. If you're awake, we are in alpha. And Turiya is really, really deep. Okay. Yeah, I just want to continue, and I just want to repeat to understand these 5 stages of consciousness. The first step is conquering them. Through yoga practice, we can transcend to a state where you can deeply connect with your innermost self, experience a profound sense of unity, clarity, and bliss. So that you are here right now, that you watch and listen to this lecture, shows that you're very interested into your mind and that you want to take the next steps. And this is amazing. Yeah, I also have some examples for you for the 5 Chitam Bhumis. And to make it more understandable, I chose the example of a big presentation. We all knew this, we all maybe are from time to time into a situation where we have to lecture, where we have to make a big presentation. And for example, when you are in Chittam, you know, the numbing, you feel overwhelmed. What you can do is acknowledge the chaos and take a moment to breathe. The next state, Muda, when you feel unmotivated, set small tasks to get started. Try to think not too far, try to think about the next step. What is it, what you can do next? Not all of it. Vikshiptam, if you get distracted easily, remove distractions. Just turn off your phone, bring it out of the room or give it to the boyfriend or girlfriend. Try to focus and try to free yourself from all these distractions. Ekagram, the one-pointedness, deep focus on preparing content. Try to practice to hold this one-pointedness. And if you get distracted again, analyze it. What distracts you? Why are you distracted? And the last one, Nirodham, presenting with complete calmness and clarity, aim to reach this state through consistent practice. Of course, if you practice a lot of things, if you know what you do, if you know what you say, then you experience some calmness in it. And this is kind of translated into this state. So I have like a mini meditation for us, a mindful exercise to show you how easy it is to experience this one-pointedness. And for that, I invite you to lean back, close your eyes. Like in the beginning, rest your hands on your legs, sit comfortably. And take a deep breath. In this exercise, I will show you how to calm the mind very easily and move towards Ekagram. Breathe naturally. And try to focus on your breath. Notice any thoughts that arise, and if they arise, gently bring your attention back to your breath. All the time, if you catch yourself that the thought arises, Gently come back to your breath. Again, take a deep breath. And if you're ready, gently open your eyes. So, maybe you could experience ekagram, you could focus on your breath, you could feel it, but then a thought arises and is like, what am I doing? I'm thinking, oh, I need to go back to my breath. This happens kind of all the time. And what you did basically was, okay, you focused on sensations, like how do I feel the air on my nose or in my belly? Or maybe you used a little mantra, like inhale and exhale. All these things help us to bring our focus to one thing, helps us to stay on pointed. And the thing is, we need to try to put our ego away, because our ego is disappointed. It says, I wanna be on pointed. I don't want to be distracted. I can do it. I am good in this. And this is the hardest part, to put the ego aside, that it is okay, that we are in this process, that everything is there for a reason. And we are training to create a one-pointedness. We train to be more calm and find more peace in ourselves. I have some other practical tips for you for your daily life when it comes to all this, to mindfulness practice. So try to create from time to time in your daily life a moment where you reflect. Try to find some little exercises where you calm the mind. Take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes, or try to focus on one little thing. Daydreaming. Everything helps to calm the mind. Try to apply buddhi more into decision making. Try to see what is going on. Like, okay, now I am using my buddhi part of the mind. I put knowledge into my decision. Try to apply buddhi a little more. And of course, breathing exercises. As I showed you in the beginning, I think this is a good reminder, and I will repeat it again. The journey to mental clarity is ongoing. Each step you take in understanding and managing your mind brings you closer to a more balanced and focused life. I think this reminder is so important, that everything you do brings you closer to a more focused and more balanced life. You experience more calmness, more happiness through it. And this is almost my last slide. And right now it's your turn. I know it is a lot, it was a lot, and I hope you could grasp something. And I am curious to hear now, what did you take out of this workshop right now? You can write a comment, you can also raise your hand and turn on your microphone. You can talk to us. If you prefer to write in the chat, you can also write in the chat. We will just give you a moment.
While people are tapping, maybe I'm just gonna go first then. Yeah. So I really like what you mentioned about the control of the modification of the mind. So what I took away from that is that like those changes and modifications are inevitable. They are going to happen no matter what, and we are going to go through all of these different kind of stages and phases. But the best thing we can do is to have the right toolkit in order to navigate those kind of changes. And I still have a couple of questions on this topic. But I think it already brings like such a strong sense of peace that it's okay if you are not always in a flow state. It's okay if you are not a mastermind, right? And I think like once you cultivate that kind of calmness within you, it's just so much easier to navigate through life in general.
Yeah, absolutely. What what helped me the most was that the ego has an important role for us, because I think you agree, especially in the yoga world and in the whole world of spirituality and self-care, we say, yeah, but don't be too egocentric and it's the bad ego. And yeah, I use the term too, put the ego away from the mat. Yes, 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 sure. But it has also a good part. And to see this model of how our mind works together helped me to accept my ego and also listen to my ego sometimes. It's not bad. It has his part, it has his role.
Yeah, and just on that, as like a personal experience where people are still typing, is that for example, when I go and do free diving, when you go really deep, like you can accomplish it two ways. You can push yourself through your ego, or you can actually immerse yourself in the calmness and the peace that like naturally just impacts all the physiological functions that you have, that allows you to go deeper and deeper, right? So for me, that was definitely a big challenge when I started free diving, because it was my ego that was driving me. It was my ego that went, you know, this step, this step, this step. It was not the actual peace and calmness why people do free diving. Ooh.
That's a cool example, very interesting in freediving, because there is also a moment you need to put your wisdom in place to go back to the surface. And also manas, our senses. I heard about freedivers, they said they really love the peace and the silence down there, because it kind of withdraws our senses to be down there. And it plays a role too, of course. So we have some chat messages. I will read,
I can read.
Steffi.
Oh, will you read it, or should I read it for you?
Let's read, Adam. Maybe you can remove my spotlight, then we see the speaker big in the screen, if we have a speaker.
Okay, I don't think anybody raised their hand to get on stage, so they are just raising their hand now. So Steffi said that it reminds me that I have to take more care of my brain. In daily life, I have so many topics that I don't give my mind time to rest. This weekend, I have, for example, a social media rest. Thank you for this great reminder that my mind has to be cared of.
Thank you, Steffi, for sharing this.
How much, just a follow-up question on that one. How much time do you allow yourself to rest? Because I think it can be like counterintuitive that especially for highly ambitious people, when there's like so many different kind of things that you are working on, you're almost always at an overdrive. And then you always feel like doing something more and more and more, and you don't allow yourself to rest. Whereas that sometimes the best thing you can do is to actually take a break, remove yourself from the environment, look for some contrast, do something completely different, or go to the gym, or do something else. So I know it's like a difficult question, but how often do you allow yourself to rest when you are working on a highly ambitious project?
I should do it more often, to be honest. But since 1 week, I go very ambitious back into my sports, and I feel the change. When I go out, and it doesn't matter if it's sunny or rainy, I am out there, I have music on, I don't have No, that's not true. I mean, I don't check social media, but I have my phone with me. But when I am out there doing my sports, being in nature, listening to some music, see and feel and smell the air, this kind of calms my mind so much and gives me some rest, which is the I don't know, if all of you, if you work out, you understand that if you do sports, if you do activity, it kind of gives you more energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel that right now. And it's a great feeling.
Yeah. It's actually an idea that I got from a friend of mine who is also in the call. His name is Nick. He is in the audience. When we talked about that, how we are able to stay productive and how we can actually balance things in life, he was always telling me that he's a big believer in contrast. So let's say that if you are seated and you're working, you're hyper-focused on your computer, the best thing you can do is to do the exact opposite. That you are not seated, you are walking, you go outside, you do something completely different, because this is how you can actually balance things out. And I think it's very similar to also what you are saying, and I think that's a great way to tackle this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We also have a comment from Janina. I find it very valuable to see words and meanings broken down one by one and diving into those meanings. I learned more about our consciousness today and what role the ego plays in influencing our mind. Thank you, Nicole. It was lovely to listen to your voice and presentation. I 100% agree with this. And also, just to hold on to one word here, which is the ego, and I think that also came up quite a few times during this presentation. What do you recommend to people who has a huge ego and they are really struggling to let that go or calm themselves because their ego always steps into every single action and every thought that they have?
The first thing what comes in my mind is meditation and kind of yoga philosophy, because meditation helps you to slow down. Meditation helps you to kind of create some space in between your thoughts, so you get time to think this through. So how is it, how do you behave, how do you answer? And those people should do more exercises in getting the other point of view. Like, it's not only their own reality. There are multiple realities. We all of us have our own reality. So you see a reality, I see a reality, but we don't know what's going on. When you look behind me, you see something green, and you, in your head, you have an imagination about the nature behind me, but you don't really know. You are not here. And those people maybe should do some exercises in getting the other point of view of something, of situations, of thoughts, of the thinking. Yeah, I think that would be a great exercise.
Yeah, I can second that because I think I also used to fall into that category, and it's been like decades of work trying to get out of that state, and these are also like perfect ways to actually accomplish that. We also have another comment from Nick. Recently, I did a dopamine detox day, and it made me aware how addicted my mind is to learning new things. Basically, being in the butterfly mind state constantly. The five minds you spoke of makes me aware that it is not ideal, and this workshop gives me inspiration to find more ways to get into the one-pointedness. I noticed that playing piano and handpan gets me in one-pointedness incredibly fast. I should do that more. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, Nicole.
Thank you.
Yeah, playing instrument definitely helps. I also played on Nick's handpan, and it is really meditative. It literally just like sucks you in to a vortex, and you are just like flowing, and you are not even aware of your surrounding, that you can be truly present and enjoy that. Another question what I would have here is that it's more on the personal side of things. What are some of the practices that you use during obstacle racing? Because I would also assume that your mind goes through a lot of different kind of phases and stages. So can you maybe share
What
a
was
little
really,
about that and that experience?
yeah, when I was in this ultra marathon, it was my third attempt to do it. 2 years before, it didn't work out. First year, we didn't reach the time limit, the time zone after 6 hours, so we did not finish after 28 kilometers, which was really disappointing. And the second time, I was sick before, and my body was weak. I should never have started at all. But yeah, the third attempt I took really serious, and it was also the year of my self-employment. It was the year of my yoga teacher training. I learned about this. I learned about our mind, how it worked. I learned about the yamas and the niyamas. And I also heard about Sankalpa, which is kind of your how do you say, you know, when you go to a meditation, when you go to yoga, there's something inside of you what you want to get out of it. So to put your sankalpa right, your it's not inspiration, is it? Yeah. For me, it was, I will train hard for this. I want to achieve that, and I can achieve that. I am physically capable of achieving this goal. So I started from January putting this into my meditations, into my yoga practice, and it kind of helped me to be disciplined with my training. And of course, it set the mindset right. And when it came to this race, it was a 12 and a half hours race. And in this whole race, this was crazy. I was in this race and I did not really think of failing or succeeding. I was in the moment. I was on pointed present in my situation. And this was kind of crazy. And I felt so strong and confident through that. And of course, after the finish line, it was pure joy and happiness that I could achieve that. And I was the first person out of our team. All of us were behind me. And this was also crazy. I don't know how and why. I know I trained hard for that and I had a strong mindset because, I don't know, I felt so fit, so strained, so strong in this moment. During this ultra marathon, it was not just running, it was also climbing, it was doing some obstacles. It was 3,005 meters of elevation. It was in the mountains of East Poland. Poland, I think it was. It was crazy. It was a really crazy race. And to achieve that, I say yoga did the part in it, a big part in it, to help me to achieve this goal, to be this on pointed through my goal and in this situation. I enjoyed every piece of it, and that was great. That was cool.
Yeah, I think that's a huge inspiration for many. I've been totally postponing my race for only a decade now, but eventually I'm going to get there. Yeah, so I think it's a great learning experience. We have another comment from Madison. I've been trying to calm down while sleeping lately, and it has kind of helped, but I'm excited to try it with counting breath. I feel like that will help so much. Also putting words to the different parts of the brain. I definitely let ego take a greater role in my responses at times, and being able to take a breath and think of the other parts of the brain when responding to things will be really helpful, useful. Also hearing your voice and seeing your beautiful face is always calming and inspiring. So maybe we need a video of you just to speaking and calm us down. Maybe we can record it after the session.
Thank you, Madison. Big hug to you. I miss you.
I'm full of questions. I still have questions. I'm ready to go. when people talk about strong mindset, what are they referring to based on this structure and principles that you have presented to us today?
I would say the one-pointedness, the ekagram. Because a strong mindset means you can control your distractions. You're focused, you're disciplined, and I would refer this to ekagram, to the one-pointedness.
Mm-hmm. And I think you have already worked with quite a few people in the past. Just based on your experience, what is the most common thing that people usually struggle with? So is it more like that they are super distracted, or their ego is getting in the way? Like what are the different kind of things that like you have observed that's the most common challenge people face?
Honesty.
Honesty. Can you
To be
elaborate?
to know what you truly want, to know what you truly desire, and to know who you truly are. I think this is the main problem, because people have images in their head of the because people have images in their head of the perfect life, but is it really that what they want to have, or is it just something else? If they start being honest to themselves, they start to dig deeper in the own problems, in the own situations, what makes them happy, what doesn't make them happy. And yeah, if they know what makes them happy or not, and if they are really honest to themselves, then technically they know the next steps to do.
What are usually those next steps? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, those steps are most of the time not the easiest steps, because sometimes it means you find out that you're not happy with your job, or you find out that you're not happy with the relationship. And if you found out that, what would be the next step? You need to evaluate the points you could do. Is it to quit the job? What happens if I quit the job? What else do I want? And you need to evaluate, is it worth or is it not worth? Am I okay if I stay there or not? But most of the time we need to be brave to do so. We need to be brave to do the next steps towards our happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. We also have another comment here. Nico, thank you so much. I have to leave and pick up my son. Bye-bye. But thank you so much for joining. You know, what you are saying, I think, again, it's a very important thing to mention, because just based on my experience, I think people are not honest with themselves. And they are not even honest with each other. So the only people and the only friends that I allow myself in my life who dare to be 100% honest with me, because I'm also that kind of friend who is going to be 100% honest with my friends. And just making people feel always comfortable is not necessarily the best thing that you can do for someone. And especially if you are just pampering yourself and you are not facing reality, because if you feel that you would like to change your current circumstances and there are certain areas of your life that you need to work on and improve, the only way you can do that is that if you actually admit it to yourself. So the first step of change is actually acknowledgement. Like having that kind of mindset with yourself and also having the right type of people around you can drastically impact your improvement and long-term growth.
I mean, if someone knows, if someone thinks this is super interesting, I can also recommend to read more about the yama and the niyama. It's basically like lifestyle recommendations, like rules. I don't really like rules, but they help us to understand a lot what is going on with us and for us. But the thing is, if we understand, it's frightening and we are afraid of doing the next step because we like to feel comfortable, our ego does not want to be hurt, and then we need to put Buddhi in, the wisdom. we need to evaluate, is it what we can do? And maybe with these 4 parts, they help you to evaluate your situations. When I was in my past relationship, I wasn't happy for the last 2 to 3 years in this relationship, and I should have left this person sooner, but I didn't because I wasn't strong enough. And it was also in the year when I did my teacher training and self-employment, everything in 1 year, I realized who I am and what I want in life. And it wasn't that. But to break out of this situation, to break out of this circle, I needed to be brave and I needed to trust my instincts, to do the next steps, that everything will work out. And yeah, so I started working towards that and got more and more strength through that, through this realization also. When you understand and when you learn who you are, what you want, what makes you happy, and if you dig deeper into this, you create also more and more and more confidence, that you feel the power, that you feel, that you are able to do the next steps.
And something that you just mentioned, that you start working towards it, it's work. It's going to take some time. And so usually when I speak to people about personal development, self-improvement, either like going to the gym or working on themselves, one of the questions that they ask is how much time is it going to take? People are not super patient. So let's say that, just an example, if you want to go and build a good physique, you actually don't have to go to the gym that many times as you think. You just need to do the right thing. Yeah. So spending even just 5 hours a week is going to get you really, really far with your health and physique. What would you say that how much is the recommended or like a realistic time investment for people to do on the weekly basis to invest in themselves and invest in their own mental well-being in order to reach different kind of heights?
When it comes to this mindful exercises, I would say like a short recap a day at the end or during the day, when you're sitting here, which part is dominant? Is it your wisdom? Is it your ego? Are you hungry? Or when you are in a situation which plops up, basically, a lot of people of you are in Bali right now. You are on the motorbike, on the scooter, you're stuck in traffic in Canggu, it's hot, you're angry. Which part of your brain is that? This is a mindful exercise to recognize these parts and to create this awareness. Maybe if you struggle with them, if you struggle about remembering that you should do that, you can also put in your calendar a little reminder of a reflection session. It takes a minute, like reflect on your day. Okay, which part could you feel today? And now you have the knowledge of that. And also when it comes to meditation can be very easy. It can be sitting in a chair like we do right now, straight spine, close your eyes and breathe. Try to focus on your breath for a minute or two. This will help you to calm down. This will help you to create little steps in your routines. Take the pressure out is the only thing I can say. Or it's the first thing every time I say, take the pressure out. Start recognizing, start observing your thoughts, your behaviors, and create these little moments in your week.
I think that's a wonderful recommendation. Everybody should do that. I should also get better at that, I must admit. I also have some work to do. Is there any final words that you would like to put out there before we wrap up this session?
Any time off? Can you repeat it, please?
Or do you have any final words or something that you would like to share with the audience before we finish up the call?
One phrase I like to tell every time someone asks me that is Dum vivimus vivamus, which translates to live your life because you are alive. And this kind of gave me a lot of thinking in a lot of situations in my life, and through that I appreciate things, I be more present in the moment, and yeah, helps me a lot. Live your life because you are alive.
I think that's the perfect closure. Thank you so much. This has been a great session. I think we all learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot of new words which I never heard about. Yeah, this has been great. Thanks again. And thank you everyone for joining today. We are going to do more of these sessions. If you have any ideas, recommendations, suggestions, what are the different kind of topics that you would like us to cover, join the community or reach out to Nicole or reach out to me, and we are very happy to facilitate those ones as well in the future. I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.